What's going on, dudes and dudettes? I know the other day forgot to mention a couple of things. Want to start off with those. So I know there has been some interest or rumors about the Lakers wanting Bruce Brown, who's recently traded from Indiana to Toronto, and I know they tried to get him over the summer, but he just kind of took whatever big contract he could get, which is from Indiana, but got traded for a better player a couple weeks ago or a week or so ago, and now the Lakers are more interested because they think they can still get and trade for him, but I don't know. It's just tough to have to try to trade away some pretty good players for just one, and you might have to throw in a pick as well. And I don't think they could really take back any other players from that same team because he was just recently traded to there. So it's kind of like a weird stipulation that the trade NBA rules are. But yeah, it'll be pretty interesting to see if they can still get him and maybe include him in a 3-team deal, try to get some other player as well. So we'll have to wait and see about that. And then, yeah, I don't know if I talked about USC, the men's side, on the road still, and they were in Arizona playing that game, and they did end up losing that game as well to ASU, 67-82. Yeah, for some reason, they weren't able to compete in this one. I know it was sort of close right before halftime, and I don't believe both Collier or Boogie Ellis are still playing, but you still have to show out better against a pretty bad team at ASU. So that was pretty tough to see, especially with Bronny James being able to start and do whatever he wants kind of right now. So it's not looking good for him and his overall draft stock. So we'll see what happens the rest of the year with this team, because it kind of looks like they're kind of out of the March Madness tournament as of right now, which sucks. And then I don't know if it's like a sports energy drink or some type of drink out there called Celsius that they promote and stuff, especially a lot of athletes and people on social media. But I believe they were promoting a lot of college football players, and now they're back to do a lot of college basketball players. And of course they included a player from both of my teams. That's of course on the women's side, the USC's Juju Watkins, and then Duke's on the men's side, Jared McCain. That's pretty cool for them. They were in their promo or ad that they recently put out with a couple other basketball athletes as well. So congrats to them, and obviously either school you go to, you'll be able to get some good NIL deals, athletes. So definitely make sure you pick the right school. And the Duke men's basketball team is now number 12 in the AP poll because they did lose that game Saturday, I believe it was, to Pittsburgh. So yeah, that dropped them a couple spots, which sucks, out of the top 10. But hopefully they'll be able to get back with a win tonight. I'll get into what happened on the road at Louisville later in this video. But yes, hoping they will be able to move up because they always are judged a bit more because they're Duke or USC. And then speaking of USC, that offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury, he was interviewing. I think he did interview for that Chicago Bears job we did talk about recently. And then just the other day, he did go out and interview for the Steelers offensive coordinator job. So that's a pretty good gig for him, even though they don't really have a good quarterback. And then I believe he also did do, within the last day or so, an interview with the Philadelphia Eagles, who recently let go of their offensive coordinator they had for 1 year, which is pretty, funny. But yeah, we'll see what he ends up doing. It does look like he is getting a lot of interest around the league, especially the NFL, so he probably won't be back at USC. But at least this year, he did stay longer, because I know the first time they hired him as an offensive coordinator, a month later, basically, he left to go coach in the NFL as a head coach for the Arizona Cardinals. At least this year, even as a regular analyst, he did stay the full year around Caleb and Lincoln Riley. So I guess it's all forgiven as of right now. But yeah, so far we'll see where he ends up in the NFL. And then Juju Watkins once again won her 10th Pac-12 Freshman of the Week, even though USC pretty much lost both of those games this last week on the road. But she still once again got that recognition, so I guess that's pretty cool. And I think she was even named to the top 10 of this one awards list called the Ann Myers Drysdale Award. And it said top 10, so I don't know if that's like the final 10 or now she's considered in the top 10. I don't know. but I don't even know if it's like for the player of the year for the women's side or all that stuff. So either way, USC basketball felt it was important enough to put on their social media, so it must be an important award watch list. So congrats to her. And pretty much a day later, all that's been being reported by NFL insiders and reporters that after that, pretty much going on with that meeting, the second time with the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh, it looks like the Chargers are within striking distance of signing him, and it's almost pretty much a done deal. He just has to sign it and all this stuff, and maybe they've already both agreed upon the same GM as well to help him out. I know they did interview a GM today as well, a woman in Dawn Aponte. I know I usually see her during the NFL draft. She does a lot of like the later picks when the main commissioner, Roger Goodell, stops doing it. But yeah, that's where I've seen her from. She obviously is high up there in the NFL ranks, and it's pretty cool that they're giving her an opportunity because she must be willing to get in there and looking to do a good job. So as long as you're doing a good job, I don't care if you're a man or a woman. Either way, as long as you're helping my team, that's all good. So yes, as I said, we'll see what ends up happening as well with Jim Harbaugh because it looks like it's close. So hopefully within the next day or so, I'll be able to break that news to you on this channel. So look out for that. And then I believe just the other day, Caleb Williams, after he declared for the NFL draft, he did have his first brand partnership after declaring, because he did have obviously other brands and NIL deals before, but now this is the first time as a pro, and it was with the company Trolley. Obviously does like those sweet and sour, basically candies, and I like the worms. That's kind of like the regular old school worms, not like the octopus or some of the new crap as well. But that's pretty cool for him to already get that partnership deal done, and obviously they're maybe expecting him to be number one, and that's why he's already getting brands and all these deals, and will probably be in a lot of commercials leading up until the draft. So like I said, it definitely does not hurt to be one of the top athletes coming out of USC and heading towards the NFL draft. And a handful of players were selected to the McDonald's All-American game for both the men's and women's sides to a couple of the teams that I root for. Obviously on the Duke side, it was Cooper Flagg and Isaiah Evans playing for the east side of that All-American team. And then Trent Perry, who's the point guard committed to USC, got selected on the west side. And I believe even on the women's side for USC, there's obviously that top 5-star player, Avery Howell, Kennedy Smith, and Kaylee Heckel as well. And I know there were a couple snubs. At least they did report that they thought these 5 players should have been in there. And of course 2 were Duke commits as well. The small forward Con Canupul, and also the center Patrick Mbanga II. So yeah, maybe they will be alternates if a player can't make it or there is an injury. You never know. But yeah, I guess these guys did play well and were definitely deserved according to 247. So that's at least looking good for Duke's recruiting class if they could have got 2 other guys in there as well. And a quick RIP to Q, the live Bulldog mascot for the Georgia Bulldogs in college football. I remember him infamously getting almost bull rushed by a Longhorn Bull, because I think it was Georgia versus Texas in a bowl game, and I guess they were trying to get them together to do a photo, and of course the Bull just wanted to ram him, and luckily the Bulldog got out of the way, and I don't think that was the cause of his death, because that was quite a few years ago. But yeah, he was pretty much a good luck charm, because they won 2 championships, were in a couple more. They've been pretty successful ever since they had him, so we'll see who ends up being. Obviously, it's going to be a Bulldog of that same, it's not race, but breed. And then we'll see how that Bulldogs record ends up happening after that. So good luck to them. And then today, yes, getting to that Duke game, they were on the road against Louisville and were able to beat them 83-69. Tyrese Proctor had a career-high 24 points, also threw in 4 assists as well. So overall, a really nice game for him, especially because Jeremy Roach was finally back, but then he left like halfway through the game with what looked like another injury, which sucked, but he was still on the bench and wasn't in the locker room, so I guess it wasn't that bad. And then Filipowski did step up a bit as well. I just wish these guys were able to make it a bit easier because it was pretty close with like 5 minutes to go, but then luckily they were able to pull away from a bad team. I just wished it was a little bit easier. And then when it came to the Lakers yesterday, they lost against the Clippers 116 to 127, which sucked, but without LeBron and pretty much a bad head coach, that's pretty much what ends up happening for the Lakers right now. They were kind of close towards the end of the third, but they just let it get out of hand, of course. And then the Anaheim Ducks did get another win finally against the Buffalo Sabres tonight, 4-2. It was getting close because they were winning 3-0, and it became 3-2 very quickly. But luckily, I guess they scored on an empty net goal, so at least they were able to seal this victory late in that third period. And Mel Kiper Jr., the draft expert for ESPN, did put out his first mock draft, and obviously USC's Caleb Williams is going number 1 to Chicago, but at number 5, he has the Chargers selecting the Georgia tight end and Brock Bowers. Obviously, that's one of my top choices as well. I would not be upset either with the wide receiver Malik Neighbors from LSU, who was picked right after that, and then also Rome Odunze, the wide receiver from Washington, who I think is probably the best receiver of this year. But to get a generational type of tight end, in my opinion, I think that's what the Chargers definitely need a bit more than receiver. But we'll have to wait and see about that in a couple of months. And then, yes, a nice, pretty cool and awesome summer tour is going to be happening this year for Avril Lavigne. She'll be headlining this tour, but she'll also be bringing a lot of bands that I like as well. In All Time Low, who I've never seen before. Simple Plan, I saw for the first time last year. They were great. And then also a new band I discovered in the past month or so called Girlfriends, who have been pretty good and have definitely been going deep into their catalog and liking a lot of what I've heard so far. It sounds very similar to the stuff I like, so they're definitely one of my top people I listen to now. So definitely looking forward to maybe checking out this tour, not later in the year. You never know. Thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.